We'll call the meeting back to order. No decisions were made in executive session.
Yeah, because people got to come in if there's anybody here. I think there were a few people that were gonna.
You want to take 5 minutes then?
Yeah, we'll just take 5 minutes bathroom. real
Till
quick.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, and then we'll call the meeting to order then.
Okay.
People out there.
I know of a few. Well, Brian's here with insurance already. I knew he was gonna be here, but
And that roofing guy, that's the other bid we're getting.
as far as I'm, yes.
I slept like
Yes,
an
yes.
hour last night. Couldn't sleep.
Maybe.
I just need to sit.
So they have to, you open up for any
That's it?
discussion, right?
We have to call the meeting to order.
Oh, yeah, because you took a break, yeah, and then
Okay.
public comment, I guess.
We are going to open the R&R hearing, and we'll take questions, comments. No eggs or bricks, but
Is it possible to get a complete, or did I go to the clerk's office to get a complete outline of
Breakdown.
wherever last penny is spent?
can they get a budget?
There's this one, that's what I've got. I know, this would be the only thing I have.
He's asking if he can get one.
Yeah, he can request
You
one.
can request
Just go
one.
there all, thank you.
Yeah. Minor, I'll let you see
Another
that.
question, is every group that takes tax money from the county, do they come in and give, do they appear before you, or they just turn in a budget request, or how is that done?
Most heads of like, the clerk will come in and they'll give us their budget and expenses that they expect, and we go through it and okay it.
But does each entity come in for once a year
Yes,
request?
yes.
They put it, now they usually give you a written request, and sometimes they appear before, if they want an increase, they'll come to the commissioners usually in person and
Yeah.
Yeah.
ask for that. But if they don't want an increase, a lot of times, then they'll just turn in a budget request, paper request, is that right? I'm just trying to.
A lot of times they'll still come in. Most of the time they'll still come in, yeah.
Report to you what they're
Yeah.
doing and how they're using the money that we're allocating to them, right?
Right.
Yeah, most of the time they'll bring a sheet in showing what they did with their money and how much they're asking more for or less sometimes.
And when they ask for more, they give a breakdown of why.
Yeah, okay.
So
You get very few this one less.
we had a lot, we had it all cut down this.
Few, but not many.
Yeah.
Most of us know we want
Well,
more.
those that are
Need
taxing
more.
entities.
But basically,
Subsidiaries, like you
they've
said,
been
just-
running the same, pretty much
Most
the
of them
same.
are about the same, yeah.
I'm gonna move up.
You should have just sat in the front row.
Yeah.
You can sit up here, buddy.
Maybe I'll move back.
Gentlemen, hello. I'm more venting than anything. I'm not griping, well, I am, but I just need to vent a little bit.
Okay.
Who named that thing, whatever the heck it is, revenue neutral? It ain't neutral to me. It's an increase in my taxes. What does revenue neutral mean?
That one I couldn't answer.
It's called tax at revenue neutral rate.
Right.
Well, my assumption is it's building for inflation.
Right.
Well, it's still not neutral to me.
Right. So it's, do I understand this right? It's where we typically are. And
So
when
it
you go-
means, in general, it means the tax rate for the current tax year that would generate the same property tax revenue as levied the previous tax year using the current tax year's total assessed valuations.
Yeah, what'd you say?
Okay,
I
so,
mean, it's an increase in taxes.
well,
Right,
it's
when you-
saying,
When you go above the neutral rate, we have to have a hearing to kind of let the public know why it
So
went
so the
up.
neutral rate would be
So
what,
what you're really asking for is the maximum tax instead of the neutral rate then?
the neutral rate is what would be generated the same for the previous year for this year.
At the same mill levy? Is that what you're saying?
Using the total
So
assessed, using
next-
the current tax year's assessed valuation, so the current tax year's valuation.
Oh, I'm still not sure I understand, but I'm sure not, it isn't neutral to
So-
me is what I'm getting at.
Right, so when it goes above that, we have to have a
Yes, the mill
hearing
levy is
to
what
to
we
let you know
changed.
why.
What you're doing now.
Right, and we did have it lowered, but then there's a lot of fear because of everything going up with the fire department, all the EMT, sheriffs, because if there's a fire, and then we had to hit this head on this year. If there's a fire like there has been in the past, and say Hale Ponds or Idalia or Goodland comes over to help us and they lose a truck, we're liable for that truck. So the three that I just mentioned, how should I say that? They're nervous that they don't have enough to handle that if something ever happens, and
They can't be without a truck.
well, they can't be without a truck.
To cover that.
I don't know that our K-Camp or K-Works would cover an out-of-county.
Not an out-of-county vehicle.
So you have agreements between the two fire, that isn't part of the agreement someplace?
No.
Okay.
So that's what
You can't
we
make-
get this
you can't
year.
make an agreement.
I mean, you
can't have-
can't get an insurance to be
Take
that
care of
part
your
of
own
it?
equipment.
It only takes care of our own equipment. We can't, if somebody comes over and
So-
they get hurt,
Sure,
and that's what we ran into this year. Because we did have it significantly lowered.
Well, I just, again, I understand, but which tax are you actually going to go for, the max? And it doesn't, I guess it doesn't matter, both of them are an increase.
Calculate it, yeah.
Part of my issue for me, and I'll deal with mine personally because I don't know everybody's, my assessed value on my house has risen 200% in the last 9 years. It rose 20% last year. So on top of this, I'm getting hit with an assessed value.
Yeah.
And my taxes, paying taxes is a privilege. I understand that. I agree with that. Paying taxes is a privilege. I want you guys to be able to do collectively what I can't do by myself. I can't build roads and I can't do the fire department. So we worked collectively and the taxes is fine. But once taxes get to a point that they're a burden,
Right.
it becomes an issue. My taxes, again, I'm not there yet, but I can see the future. This is, if my taxes are 20% higher this year than they were last year, 5 more years, I'm in a heck of a wreck. My wife and I were lucky. We worked all of our lives. We worked in places, had a nice retirement. And retirement doesn't know anything about revenue neutral.
No.
That check doesn't change. So I'm venting. I'm venting about the assessed value of my house. It's 200% higher than it was 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The reason it is because of the sales of homes.
I understand that, but if my assessment is 200% higher, is everybody's assessment 200% higher? And if that's the case,
Well,
then
it
your
depends
tax
on-
base should have raised quite
Depends
a
on
little
the
bit.
type of home you have.
Well, but everybody's house should have been higher, right? So your tax base should be higher.
It didn't matter, my office, which is commercial, my house, everything on us has went up.
Ag land.
But
Very
if your
bad.
tax base is higher, you're receiving more tax revenue just because of the assessed value is higher. So if everything was even, your mill levy would come down when the assessed value was up to keep it even, right?
Correct.
This is pretty basic.
Right.
I'm not trying. So what I'm getting at is this can't keep going on.
No, you can't.
I'm getting old.
There's no way to budget
I understand
for it.
too,
I mean,
what you're saying, but at the same time that is not all county tax.
No, I understand.
I mean,
I've
you
got
have
other places
school board,
I've
you've
got other
got
places to
city
go to,
council.
yes. Yeah, the big three are the county and the state, or the city of the county and the school.
Yeah,
But it's all based on the assessed value of my home.
and,
And farm ground, for crying out loud, is going down.
and
How does that make any sense?
I don't know where we're gonna stop either, because we just bought, just this year, we've probably spent, in the fire department alone, $250,000,
Yeah, I know your expenses are crazy. Everybody's expenses are
and we were
crazy.
buying used equipment on top of it.
So the agricultural assessed rate is set by this.
Yeah, you guys don't have anything to
Right.
do with that, yeah.
And it is on a downward trend currently.
That makes,
Ag land's going down,
yeah.
Yes.
Well-
but residential, it's going
That
that
is
way.
going up because it is set by the county appraiser.
Well,
And are we run on a 5 or a 7-year average?
The county appraiser does a 3-year,
It's a 3?
she has to assess the county, a third of the county
No, but I
every year.
mean, don't we,
your assessed value, your property tax base from this year to last year has risen
Yes.
because of this assessed value.
and when the assessed value goes up, your insurance premiums go up.
Well, everything goes up, but what I'm getting
Right,
at still
it
is,
is, what you're saying is completely true.
you should be receiving more revenue, tax revenue, because the assessed value is going up, even if you didn't change the mill levy. So, but you're kind of stuck. I'm venting. I'm not, you know what I'm saying?
You're asking questions and.
But it feels like we have, Rob and I have lived in that place since whenever, 1978. And we've done a few things, we fixed it up, and it's a pretty nice house, and we're comfortable in it. But it feels like we're being penalized because we have something nice. And you've heard that before. I've heard this, I even heard this 40, 50 years ago from people. But I just don't know what the answer is, I just needed to vent.
Yeah, I tell people that the building I bought in Goodland, I will have paid for it twice in 20 years.
Yeah.
And
the
it's
state of Kansas is the one that comes up with this revenue neutral stuff.
Well, and that's why I was
mean,
giving you
we
hell
were-
about revenue
we were
neutral.
We were running on a tax lid. for years.
Yes.
And then they got rid of the tax lid and went to revenue neutral. And I guess we need an auditor in here to explain it better than I can.
Yeah.
Just,
That's why I assumed it was revenue neutral, had something to do with it, with inflation and the cost of but I also have to deal with inflation. Like I said, anyway, thank you, gentlemen. I don't know if I have any more. I didn't, and I don't have any questions, don't have any
Well,
answers.
it's a real double-edged sword because when we try to hire somebody, we've gotta be able to compete
Yeah.
with others, and we've got good healthcare, we've got all this stuff, but when McDonald's is paying 17 to 20 an hour, it's hard to get people to wanna work.
Do you know what your tax base has increased by the assessed values? Have you, I mean, that information's available somewhere. I don't need to know, but is it like 10%, 20%? My home again the assessed value has gone up 200% in the last 9 years. Is your tax base gone up 200% in the last 9 years? Is my home exceptional?
your home's exceptional, I would say, because ag land's going down.
Well, yeah, and that's when you gotta separate the ag land from the property.
Can you answer his question on that, Don?
I mean, the total tax roll has increased each year consistently. The tax revenue, I mean, what we,
And potentially my house was undervalued and we're catching back up, but 20% a year.
That's-
And I'm just venting, I guess. And again, once taxes is a privilege, but once it starts becoming a burden, and it will be,
Yeah.
if it keeps going, then it's a whole different story. But anyway, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your guys' work. I know you got a tough job.
Sorry we didn't have better answers.
Well, then give me another one. Say I sell that house tomorrow for a third less or half of what the assessed value was. Are you gonna give me a refund?
no.
No answer. Thanks, guys. I'm just venting, but I'm concerned. I'm seeing the future, and I can't keep
We're
doing this.
concerned too.
You know,
Well, the worst part is it affects all of us.
absolutely. I know you guys, but and I don't know what the answer is. I'm just venting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'd like to add something to this. The state of Kansas, on their website, they have a county across-the-board map that shows the increase per county for each tax year. And it shows, I mean, you can go back to 2001 or 2002, and it breaks it down, residential, the increase, and ag, the decrease. And so it's balancing.
That's what I was. Yeah.
Yes, and so they do it every year, it's part of, I mean, it's
So
It's
they're
public
they're
information.
shifting some of the not responsible, they're shifting from ag land to residential?
yes.
Huh,
And ag land runs on a 7-year cycle,
I see.
That's what I was getting at.
yeah,
And residential is,
3 year?
you're saying 3 years?
yeah.
We just
Huh.
need more people.
So, yeah, I mean, it's been,
And we're not
We do,
comparing apples
because
to
then that
apples.
splits
The
it out
tax
farther.
base in our county is small compared to some
Right.
places.
Right.
It just, again, I'm venting.
but you can see the surrounding counties, their differences.
So do you notice a lot of difference?
There is quite a big
I
difference.
mean, I know a lot of it has to do with population base, but like similar populations.
But if you look at Sherman County or Tribune County, or, you know, Greeley County,
Or Rollins County, are they all?
they're considerably less than what our county has been for residential. I don't know if that's, I don't know why,
Don't know why.
but, and that's what the map does show,
Okay.
so.
I can tell you though, through my job, I can see that we are, and it's probably statewide, not just necessarily Cheyenne County, we are losing good people moving away from here because of our taxes. We've got a lot of good people not
Right.
coming here because of our taxes. So we are, you know.
Shooting ourselves in
Tim
the
mentioned
foot.
things not being critical yet. We're not far away, because people are already, I mean, my job involves taxes every day, and people are paying attention.
Yeah, and I've had in my office taxpayers of, elderly taxpayers that have come in and said, my social security isn't gonna cover this. I'm gonna lose my home. I can't pay my taxes. And so I think we are at a tipping point.
So does the increase in taxes, like on, say, Tim's house, compared to that house that's right by us, that lady owns, in Denver that never comes, never mows. The thing is about to fall down. Nobody takes care of it. They're not forced to take care of it. The city does go mow it once or twice a year. Does that, did the taxes on that house increase at the same rate as it does on Tim's house or my house? I mean, maybe we should let all of our siding fall off so it looks like
Exactly.
a piece of junk, so that we can get evaluated less.
Move across the street into the turtle house, yeah.
So I mean, I want to, it needs to be fair. Those people that aren't taking care of it, that needs to be increased at the same rate
Right.
as ours does.
But they aren't.
But
But they probably don't pay them anyway.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably right.
They're looking at it as the value, I mean, so if it's, yeah, the current value, so if it isn't taken care of
So,
and
yes, it's
then
not
it's
fair.
gonna depreciate.
Maybe it would force them to either sell it or take care of it. So, I mean, that's not fair, that's not fair to me, because then I'm paying more of a percent of the city or the county tax.
Right, which gets
than
back
what-
to his point of being punished for
Yeah.
having something nice.
Right.
Well, I shouldn't say punish, but it
It feels like it.
we've been screwing around that house for a long time, it feels like we shouldn't have been doing it.
I protested our taxes years ago, and that's exactly what the appraiser at that time told me. He said, don't take care of your house so nice, and we won't have it taxed so high.
Yeah, well, that's a slap in the face.
Well,
But if they do, then they can do the
Yeah,
NRP, right?
that's,
Only if you
yeah,
spend.
that's why we have a
and
majority
only if you
of
go-
houses in this community that are crap right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
Only
people
if
are
you-
just letting things go because they don't want to pay higher taxes. You drive around this town and it's sickening how run down it's getting. Well, that's probably in part why.
and I don't,
Who wants to live in that?
I think praise values in Bruce City similar, have they risen? I'm not trying to be, so it's a county-wide issue. How about, I should get out of here. How about praise values on homes that are in the county, rural homes? Have they risen? So it's all kind of the same, tides raising all ships, okay. Well, if the tides raising all ships, I'm
Except for
back-
the ones that aren't being taken care of.
Sure.
I mean, but yeah, if
If a high tide raises all ships, then
No.
tax base ought to be higher.
But you said it's a 7-year average on homes, right?
for ag.
Right.
For Ag 3.
Ag is
3 on
seven.
Yeah, for homes is 3 years. So it seems like this jump is an awful big jump for a 3-year average.
Yeah.
But if a house sells, it's gonna, whether that house is caught in that year of appraisal, if it sells at that dollar figure, that's what it's gonna be assessed at, which then, so some of it is sales, others
Yeah.
is not, so, yeah.
But what we're really talking about here is an increase. We're not talking about the value of the house. It does increase some, but we're talking about an increase above that.
Right.
So we're talking about jacking it on us taxpayers hard, which comes back to the commissioners with their management of the money, which also turns back around to the fair board and the hospital and all the different departments within the county too. So, I mean, it's not just totally your management, it's actually all of these other departments' management that they submit to you for their needs. So is that critiqued, so that we can maybe spend less?
We're trying.
I guess it's inflation. Sorry, it's inflation.
It
I mean,
is.
I'd like anybody in here to tell me what they wanna cut. Do you wanna get rid of the hospital? Do you wanna get rid of the rest home? You wanna not have a fair? You want an EMS?
No, I'm talking about.
Do you want a fire truck?
I'm talking about management
But,
for each of
but,
those. We're not talking
I
about-
don't think I think most of them do a good job managing their money. Because most of them come in here this year, maybe a 3% increase. That didn't even cover inflation.
So what's the percent of tax increase we're talking about? 20?
Well, I don't know, mine,
But
because
you-
my assessed value's all screwed up. I
You can't use that because you have city and you got school in there.
Well,
We can't talk about that because we don't know.
this really does
And I
have.
don't think our taxes went up, but
But that's because of my assessed values.
not that much. It didn't go up, it did not go up what inflation has went up.
On the sheet you guys sent, and mine is skewed because of the increase in the assessed value. But it does show the percent of the maximum tax compared to the 23 tax, percent higher. In my case, well, it's not fair, we're not comparing apples to apples, but in this sheet, if you got this sheet, it should show you what the percent increase is. It's one of the things that's listed on here. It's the sheet that they sent that had.
On the R&R
Yes,
statement.
yeah. Again, mine's, because of other reasons, is not accurate. But mine's gonna be over 20% higher than last year. But the reason is because of the assessment. Well, a big part of the reason is because of the
No,
higher
this
assessed
is
value.
what Scott sends those R&R numbers out. He figures all that with the numbers from Amanda, and your
20% is gonna.
valuations and everything.
$1,000.
$1,000 more.
In our budget, it's all
For every-
budgets,
for every- not-
all
not
the
for
budgets
county.
get turned in, and then he takes the county's
Yeah.
assessment and then figures, and then that's, goes out to
And it
them.
doesn't matter if you can make an extra $1,000
But there,
covered.
another house is going up 20%.
That's why he's saying it's skewed, because our values have jumped so much. It really comes back to assessment.
That's the reason I need to go get a job.
But we are.
It's not a bad situation.
I need a consulting job. I can work from home.
It is scary. We'll be in a couple years.
So this is a hard, I mean, this is a decision is done anyway, right? So, or is there any discussion about it? I mean, what are we meeting for? Are we trying to see if it can be adjusted? Or are we meeting to tell us that you're screwed?
I think the latter is correct. Because it's already set, I mean, like they said, if the taxes, that's what it is, we're all paying it. Well, not everybody does, but
Do you know what the assessed value was of the residential, the houses? Just the total assessed value percentage-wise, what it is higher this year than it was last year? Is it 5, 10, 15% higher? Does anybody know?
It's on the map, and I wish I would've looked before I came to this. It was close to 20
The whole,
for the county.
okay, okay,
But that's the average for the county.
yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't that a state thing?
because I think mine went up
Residential is
like
not
18 or
residential,
is your
whatever. It's-
appraiser.
It's a lot, but like say now, my house is worth way more than I paid for it, but
But how long are we gonna be able to say that?
yeah.
What happens with this?
The trend in the last 4 to 5 years is something that nobody expected.
Right.
What
Right.
happens when that turns around?
Exactly.
Do we
Because we're
lower?
not gonna back up on tax value.
You don't think?
I'm pretty sure, yeah, I've never seen them go down much, but like I say, my concern is just the fact that these numbers are getting pretty high, and I'm not complaining either, but I am, because it affects everybody.
But if value of homes go down, then your taxes should go down.
Do what?
If the value of your homes start going the other way, your taxes should come down.
Has that ever happened?
Yeah. Who says
I'm
that
curious, I
happened?
don't know.
Well,
Only if we let it go, right?
inflation again. But ag land is going down.
Yeah, that's true.
But not everybody
I hope-
owns.
Owns
that
ag
doesn't-
land,
That doesn't
yeah.
affect me.
Yeah, it doesn't affect me either.
But what I'm saying, ag land went down, so taxes went down on ag land.
Yes, it
Yes.
does affect
So
us
if homes
because
go
we
down,
don't-
taxes will go down
It
some.
really doesn't.
Might not.
tiny amount because you got an average there, so, no, it isn't gonna go down. I mean,
No.
Because it's county.
But if ag land goes down or isn't taxed at a certain rate, then you have to make that tax up on something
Something
else.
else, yeah.
And so they've shifted the burden from ag land to residents, apparently, or trying to.
And the county sets it on residents.
What's that?
The county is in charge on residential, not ag. So
Yeah, they can't do anything about the ag land. yeah.
is the city or the county going to make sure that the values go down, the taxes go down if our values go down?
Depends on the cost of living.
'Cause it's all
Don't you agree?
Well, it takes X number of dollars to run the county.
Yes.
They're not going to go down unless inflation goes minus. That's not going to happen. So, I understand that. I just, again, I'm venting.
And it takes X dollars to run our home too.
Well,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's just, it's not a win, it's no win-win for anybody. And I don't know what the answers are, but like he said, in 5 years,
I mean,
we'll probably be forced to sell our home.
Well, I sit here,
About that.
I have family that own land, I have family that own homes.
Sure.
It's not like I'm gonna raise taxes.
No, I get it.
And
We're all in
if
the, we're
it's
all in the
gonna
same
affect my
boat together,
family.
but I feel like we're all sinking together.
Yeah.
We need to find a way to come up together. And I don't know what the answer is. I wish I did.
So for Cheyenne County, according to the state, the total assessed value, this is ag and residential, everything together for Cheyenne County, it was a growth of 4.18%. So 4% in average for the county. That, the residential increase, the ag decrease, got to 4% total increase.
And how's that across the state, though?
Well, these are alphabetical, so let me just go to Rawlins County.
Now, you wanna talk
Rawlins
about-
County was 1.6. Trigo County was 1.5.
Surprising.
Sherman County was 2.3. One of the highest ones was Miami at 16.9. Thomas County was at 2.8. Wallace was at -3. I mean, there are several that are at 0.1%, -0.3%. I mean, they're just right there. I don't know. So statewide, for 22, the average was 9% for the entire state. For 21, it was 3%. Trying to find the map, just for residential. So yes, residential for Cheyenne County for November 22 through July of 23 was 20% for Cheyenne County, 16% for Rollins, 15% for Sherman, 7% for Thomas, 13% for Wallace, 3% for Greeley, 3% for Wichita. Ag for that same time frame, Cheyenne was 4%, Rollins was 1%, Sherman was 1%. Wallace was -3. So,
Was gas and oil, does that affect where we get taxed? I mean, was that one of the factors here in Cheyenne County? Has that been a factor, how much, or do you know?
the gas and oil map was 8% increase for for Cheyenne County for that same time frame. I mean, we have had some new wells drilled and some activity, so that will create more tax revenue. I don't know how much, but.
So we're kind of like the doctor, he gives us the anesthetic, and then you're in charge.
Well, I think the only thing is that we're all in the same boat together.
We are.
And,
I think.
I know we're in charge of it, but then again, we're not.
I think the hardest part is, like, this last go-around, residential went up 20%. The time before that, it was 15.9%. The year before that. The year before that, it was 8.25%. I mean, it,
Steadily climbing.
yeah, so you get to where he's at, where it's gone up,
That's right.
Well, said
so.
200% in 9 years. I guess, like tripled my value of my house
Yeah, so
in 9 years, which, it's a nice house. Anybody interested? It's just,
Yeah.
and that brings up Betty's point, we're losing good people because
Right.
they're,
The only way that helps you is if you sell your house.
yeah.
Right.
That's why I'm listening for a rebate, because I think I'd sell it for a lot less than what it's valued.
Well, it has been, and it will get worse.
If we
Anyway,
don't
if we
get a
don't start.
solution, we'll end up with all these nice houses becoming dumps.
the answer
And
is.
there won't be anybody paying the taxes on them, and your sheriff's sale will become so large you can't get rid of any of it. There has to be some cap at some point.
Yeah.
Well, what would be a really wonderful thing is if we had a stronger tax base, which if all of a sudden we had more construction out in the country, or more construction in town, or more of a strength, economic strength here in McCune County, and we're doing what we can with that, but it's a struggle.
Right.
It's hard to get a new business or a new person to come to town when they're paying higher taxes here than they are in neighboring counties.
I understand, we all want the same services.
Yeah, but on the other hand too is, we're not paying what other people pay. It's hard for us to bring people in here, say the sheriffs or whatever, because we're not paying as much as other counties do. So it's hard to get people to come in here.
right, when your wage is lower and your taxes are higher than your neighboring county.
Yeah.
It's tough competition.
And like I say, we've raised some of them, say like the sheriff or EMS or whoever, to try to compete with other counties so that we're just a training ground is what's happening. Well, I don't know where we go from here, but
Do we have any more questions? We're trying to work on this. It's been an uphill battle, but it's gonna get better.
But this is already set, so
Yeah, this one is, so.
we can hope a year from now, we can see
If we're
it
still
go
there, we'll
down
come
or
and see
stay the same.
Yeah.
Try to figure out how to pay the next year.
Thanks, guys.
Yep, thanks.
thank you all for coming.
Yep,
Thank you, gentlemen, thanks for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you.
Thanks for letting me vent.
you're fine, thanks.
Okay, you have to take a vote, we gotta finish this, we can't move on.
We have to take a vote.
Yeah, you need to approve. You have to do a roll call vote, and you have to approve going over the R&R rate.
Okay. We need a motion to approve the R&R rate, correct?
Yeah, and then I have to take a motion vote, so
and then a motion.
whether
vote.
you vote yes or no, or no
Okay.
vote,
I'll make a motion to approve the RNR.
exceeding the R&R rate.
Exceeding the R&R rate.
Yep.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to increase or go exceed the R&R rate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all
So we're all
opposed.
voting for. Yes, does he write you in here, or do you write yourself in here?
You probably do.
Yes, you guys go on, and then you'll have to sign, we'll have to.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Cody.
Hey Cody, sorry, we're,
No, I'm not even on the agenda. I had something come up yesterday and it'd take me like 10 seconds.
Well,
whenever
just
you
a
guys have
minute.
time. So,
we have to make a motion to approve the resolution. Or does that motion take this, do this?
I don't know.
And I don't know what number we're on. Give me a look, I think it's 6. Let me see what resolution number we're on.
Can we take Cody in real fast?
The last,
Then we gotta finish
the
that.
last resolution that I
After
know of
this,
is
I'm
at 5, so I
I'm in
assume this
application.
would be number 6, but I guess we can modify it if